What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Bama Lounge podcast. I am one half of your host, Adam Raymer, and today's episode is, you guessed it, Ole Miss Hate Week. Mr. Kiffin for the Ole Miss Rebels against our Alabama Crimson Tide this Saturday, 2:30 on CBS. Look, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to do some different things with the podcast now. We're going to try to do 10 to 15 minute short videos for you guys instead of the hour long live episodes, just to kind of get more information out quicker and in a shorter amount of time. So I'm doing this one tonight. Blake will probably do a couple as well this week coming up, but I'm going to start it off. So again, it's Ole Miss Hate Week. So let's talk about Ole Miss a little bit. And obviously one is the fact they got Lane Kiffin coaching. We know Lane Kiffin well. He is an offensive-minded guru when it comes to running a football team. This Ole Miss team, again, this season is very dominant on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, they're averaging just under 53 points a game. They're averaging 635 yards a game. Here's the thing with them, though. Their passing yards are good, 336, but they're running the ball for almost 300 yards a game, which is insane to think about. So 635 yards of offense, guys, by Ole Miss. It's impressive what they're doing. Now, I'm just going to say they haven't played anybody like us. They're the biggest opponent they've had is Louisville. And, they beat them 43-24, but, I mean, they've played Tulane, and I can't remember who else somebody else they played was not a very good team, but that's neither here nor there. We know what happened last year in this game, and it was just it was again like a Pac-12 game. It was back and forth on offense. Nobody could do anything on defense. We ended up having a couple of stops, but to win that game last year. But me and Blake talked about this earlier in the season. That this was one of our trap games. Ole Miss ranked 12th now. Dangerous. They are dangerous. The difference is their defense is not anywhere near as good as Alabama's. Not anywhere near it. On paper, it might be somewhat close, but it's Alabama, guys, and they just don't. I don't think they have the playmakers on offense to deal with our defense. They're going to score points. They're going to score a lot of points probably, but I think we are too. It's going to be fun to watch. I am not going to that game. My son is going to this game this week with my father-in-law, so I'm going to sit at home and kind of be able to analyze it a little more to give you guys kind of an instant reaction probably tomorrow when the game's over and get your thoughts and give my thoughts on what's going on. But, anything with Lane Kiffin as a head coach, you're going to get the offensive production that you need. And with that being said, they've got some playmakers. Matt Corral is on a tear this year. And again, they haven't played anybody great, but still, the man's passed for almost 1,000 yards. He's got, 9 touchdowns to the air, 5 touchdowns on the ground. He's rushed for 158 yards. So, very dynamic quarterback for Ole Miss. They got Jerrion Ely that's, he's had the most touches, but they do a good job. Actually, he hasn't. Matt Corral's actually rushed the ball more than him, but they do a good job of getting a lot of their running backs involved in the game. And to rush for 300 yards a game is insane. Now, again, I don't know if they're going to do that against Alabama. I hope they don't. But Kiffin went on record, too, and saying if they're not getting 550, 600 yards of offense, it's not a good day at the office for them. So it's going to be a big deal to try to stop them. And obviously the big thing is stopping Corral from making throws, which it's going to be hard to do. We can try to contain him, but don't give up the explosive plays. They got Drummond at wide receiver. They got 2 receivers that are good, Jonathan Mingo and Drummond. and 20 receptions, 15 receptions, 339 yards, 290 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. So they got two standout wide receivers right now that are doing some damage and can hurt you in many different ways. So again, it's Kiffin and that offense and his play calling, which is second to none. I know I'm kind of sounding like an Ole Miss guy right now. I'll get to why why I'm not. I'm just trying to give them a little bit of props for what they've done in this season so far. And again, I cannot stress this enough. They have not played anybody like Alabama yet. Um, so we'll see what happens there. But it's Matt Corral that you have to worry about, and it's Lane Kiffin that you have to worry about with his play designs. Flip side, everybody knows we got Bryce Young. A lot of people thought before the season, Bryce Young, is he going to be the starter or not? I think everybody now knows that he needs to be the starter. We've seen Paul Tyson. We've seen Jalen Milrow the past couple of weeks. I've been at those home games where they've played, and it's night and day versus what you have in Bryce Young and what you have in Paul Tyson and Jalen Milrow. Nothing against those two, but Bryce Young needs to be on the field to win ball games right now. Those other two aren't ready. The thing that's not it hasn't been a disappointment is the run game. We've had, I think we're averaging 120 yards a game, which isn't horrible, but I'm ready for Robinson, for B Rob to kind of have a game here and establish himself as the number one back. He is the starter, he's the number one back. But Jace McClellan's got in there and done some good things. Roydell Williams got in there and done some good things. Trey Sanders has got in there and done some good things. And we've got some guys back there too. Kamar Wheaton, who's a freshman this year that we just signed, who's going to make an impact here in the future as well. So I want to see the run game get going a little bit in this game. But it all starts with Bryce Young and Bill O'Brien calling the right plays, and I think getting Brian Robinson and the run game started early will help out and get that passing game started to motivate that passing game. Well, I'm going to mention somebody on offense for us, and I'm going to give a shout out to Ohio State University for Jamison Williams. If you guys watched the game last week, it was insane what he did. I lost my voice screaming at him. But that man has come in 12 receptions, 299 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And it's been, I'm not going to say this, guys, but I love John Mechie. I love Billingsley. I love Slade Bolden. But Jamison Williams has emerged as the number one receiver on this team, I think, in my eyes, just from what I've seen. He's had a couple of drops, but that guy is lightning fast. He's dynamic in special teams. We saw that last week. And I think he needs to touch the ball 5 to 7 times a game, or get targeted at least 5 to 7 times a game, because he's going to make things happen. I mean, 12 receptions for 300 yards, it's 25 yards a reception. It's kind of undeniable that we need to get him the ball. So another guy that's standing out for me right now for Bama is our tight end, is Cameron Letu, who's caught 4 touchdowns this year on 8 receptions. So look for him, hopefully, to be a playmaker in this game. And again, Bryce Young, can't talk highly enough about him. This kid is a 72% completion percentage for the year. He's thrown for 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. That interception was last week. And, we need to do something about interceptions that technically aren't quarterback's fault, because the ball that was thrown to him bounced off of, I think it was Jamison Williams, actually, and popped up in the air and picked off. So really wasn't Bryce's fault. It was a well-thrown ball. But 15 touchdowns to 1 interception with a QB rating of 188.5. Insane to be a sophomore. And to do what he's doing. He's listed at 6 foot, too. And on the field, when I'm at the games, he does not look that big. So, I mean, he's not Kyler Murray short, but he's I don't know if he's 6 foot tall or not. He might be. We'll go ahead and give it to him. So some of the stats here show me, with Ole Miss averaging 53 points, we're averaging 47, 46 and a half. The defenses are both pretty good. I didn't mention that earlier. Ole Miss's defense is a lot better this year than it was last year. I mean, they're only giving up 20 points a game, and I keep saying this. I'm going to keep going back to it. They haven't played anybody like Alabama or even in the SEC yet. Also, they had a bye week before our game this week, so they got a little extra time to prepare. Ole Miss comes in this game too, 14 and a half point underdogs. And the over-under is like 79 and a half right now. Look, I wouldn't take the 14 and a half on Alabama yet. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we've had some games this year where we've blown them out. But when we played Florida, and Ole Miss is not Florida, I think Florida's defense is a lot better than what Ole Miss's is. But, we won by 2, and I think we were favored by the same thing, probably 14 and a half, something like that. So 14 and a half is a lot for a 1 versus 12 matchup. So that tells me that they think high of Alabama, obviously. I do like the over-under at 80. I think it's going to get there. I'd take the over. I mean, that's a 40-40 game, and I think the scoring is going to be somewhere in there. It's going to be really close. So if you go by last year's, it was obviously way over because it was like, I don't remember the final score, maybe 60-48, or it was something ridiculous where nobody knew how to play defense in that game. So I'm gonna spit out 3 keys to victory. 1, obviously, it's easier said than done. Contain Matt Corral. Get pressure on him. Let Will Anderson come from the outside. Get some pressure. Mathis needs to get in there from the nose tackle position. Get in there. Force him to get out of the pocket. Have some linebackers spying and try to contain him from the impact deep plays or using his legs. We need to contain him. Everybody knows we have trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and he's mobile. He does like to throw too, though. So 1 is contain him. 2, if you do that, you get off the field on defense. The quicker we get off the field on defense, the quicker we can get that offense on the field and hopefully score points. And, the longer that defense is on the field, the more tired they get, more the defense is on the field. The offense is sitting off the field, getting cold. So get off the field on defense. And number 3, it's Nick Saban, guys. Everybody can say they have Lane Kiffin, and don't get me wrong, Lane Kiffin's a great coach. He's a great offensive mind. He's not too much of a defensive guy for me, but it's Nick Saban. That's all you have to say. It's Nick Saban and his coaching staff. They need to do and get these guys prepared. This is a big game, and Saban's never lost to a former assistant, and I don't want it to be this week that it happens because these guys aren't prepared. We all know Saban will have them prepared. Let's hope those guys come out fired up, ready to play. It's at home. It's a 2:30 game. Saban wants the stands packed for this game. I hope it is. Like I said, I'm not going to be there this week, but I hope there's 100 and something thousand people in there yelling Roll Tide all night. So, like I said, 3 keys of the game: contain Matt Corral, get off the field on defense, and coaching. Let's get the boys ready. Let's get fired up for this game tomorrow. If you're going, that's awesome. If you're not, watch it from home. It's going to be a good one. I can promise you that. It won't disappoint. That's it, guys. That's what I got for this upcoming game. I'll probably have another video for you tomorrow night or tomorrow evening. Do a little instant reaction video. If you guys are watching this and you like it, you like the Bama Lounge, a lot of you have always sent us comments. Twitter, follow us on Twitter. We got all of our pages up on the bottom here. If you're watching on YouTube, this is a big thing. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, send us comments on there as well. We'll respond to them as soon as we can. And that's it, guys. One more thing to remember. Roll damn Tide.